Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here to talk about 5 unexpected, or maybe things you haven't thought about, things that you might want to consider stocking up on in the event of some hard times. So we're looking at items that are beyond the rice and beans kind of thing, the food and water. So starting off with what I have right here are some fabrics. Now I did do a video last year, I think it was, or a couple of years ago, on arts and crafts preparedness. So this kind of fits into there, but there's more to that than just arts and crafts. Why would you want to stock up on different types of fabrics? Well, the type of fabric, first of all, is going to matter. And these fabrics can be things like a cotton broadcloth, t-shirt fabric, preferably from old t-shirts that you were going to throw out anyway. Cotton flannel is a great one, linen, and even wool. Again, a lot of this can come from recycled things. So recycled flannel shirts, recycled old t-shirts, as long as they're 100% cotton, recycled flannel or linen garments or woolen garments. Save all that stuff. If it's things that have maybe tears or stains, or they don't fit anymore, you don't wear them anymore, save them, because they're going to have multi-purpose uses. So t-shirts, for example, we save all old t-shirts. I just cut them into rags and they get used for many things. They can get used as slings if you have a broken or sprained arm. They can get used as bandages or for tourniquets. They can be used in place of paper towels for cleaning up messes. They can be used as hankies and so much more. Linen is just such a great fabric. I recommend stocking up on just a plain undyed linen that you can use for medical bandages. Linen was commonly used for bandages. And in my personal opinion, it's going to be the best for bandaging wounds because its breathability and its healing properties that it just naturally has. So this is a flax linen, though you could still use a dyed linen. I do especially recommend for wound care, especially when we're talking open wounds, going with an undyed linen, just to be sure you're not getting something crazy in there. Flannel, I always save any old flannel because that gets used for patching things, for rags, for making wipes for the bathroom, and because that's what I use instead of toilet paper, and I wash them. And I do need to do an update video on that, but it's just simple. They get washed on their own with my own homemade laundry powder, and usually a splash of homemade vinegar in there as well. They also make good table napkins as well, but so does linen. I like linen the best for that. Obviously, if you have enough, like I have a pretty good chunk here of some of the sage green linen, you can use it to make skirts, pants, shirts, and more. So, obviously you're going to have to develop your sewing skills if you don't already have that. But I still recommend saving as much of this kind of fabric as you can and stockpiling it for the so many different things, even if it's just repairing clothing. So like I said, with the flannel, I like using flannel, especially for patching holes in clothing. But even having I have like a bolt of a cotton denim on hand too, that I can use for either creating items or use for patching jeans and more. Okay, so another really important thing would be spirits. So right here, I have some Jack Daniels, so I have some whiskey. Brand does not matter. Back here, I have spiced rum. These are the 2 main ones I stock up on. Regular plain vodka is great too. And a lot of you have been, well, I don't drink, so I wouldn't stock up on that. Well, that's not the point. It's not about having these things on hand so you can just guzzle them down. It's about having them on hand for the many purposes that you can use your spirits for. Or build yourself a skill and learn how to make your own spirits, because something like this can be good for disinfecting wounds or anything else, hard surfaces and more. Though it would be cheaper to use something like rubbing alcohol for surfaces and a few other things that you can do, that some things I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube, but there are things that you can make yourself that would be great for disinfecting. The number one thing I keep these on hand for is making tinctures and extracts. So the spiced rum gets reserved specifically for making vanilla extract, where the others are for making medicinal extracts. I do also use my own homemade wine for making medicinal extracts. It just depends, and I use that more than anything, but it just depends on what it is I'm extracting. Sometimes I may want something stronger like a spirit, such as whiskey, tequila, vodka, whatever. So whatever is easiest for you to get your hands on and to stock up on, I highly recommend doing that. Also, if you have enough, it can be a good source for barter in a hard situation where somebody has something you really need and you have something they really need. That's definitely a good source of barter. And by the way, I should have said this right at the top. These are in no specific order of importance. I just wrote them down. And so it's really, even if they were, it's really about what's going to be most important to you. So another thing I have on the list is lye and other soap making supplies. So obviously another thing is going to require you learning the skill of making your own soap, but it's easy to do. You could also consider if you live in a place, and if you have like a wood stove or fireplaces, and you live in a place where you get plenty of hardwood for burning, you can make your own lye out of your hardwood ash. We tend to have a lot of softwood because of where we live. So I don't know that it would be the best for making lye. If I absolutely had to though, I would try it. But anyway, soap making is a super easy process. And I have a whole video series that I'll link to down below. Like one of my very oldest videos shows me just making a simple soap, just throwing in some of my own homemade dried herbs. You don't even have to do that. It's as simple as having your lye, your fat, and some water. If you're using a dry lye, if you're making your own lye, which would already be in liquid form, all you need is that and some kind of fat. So that's why I just put the coconut oil out here. I don't usually use the virgin coconut oil for making soap because it's softer and it takes longer for it to set up. I prefer using the refined coconut oil. It tends to set up faster and is a little harder. So anyway, I just grabbed this because it was closer. And as an example, but yes, you can still make soap out of this. There's all kinds of great fats you can make soap out of. You can use lard, you can use tallow. I sometimes will add a little shea butter to that, or castor oil even. It's just something to consider. At least if not that, then consider stocking up on some of your favorite soaps. Now, back here, I have baking soda. This is just a given. Everybody should have plenty of baking soda on hand. And a lot of people think, well, I don't do that much baking. Why do I need that much baking soda? And some people may not even think of baking soda for baking because they use baking powder more. Well, you can make your own baking powder, but you have to have baking soda. That's one of the two ingredients in baking powder. So baking powder is made with baking soda and cream of tartar. So and I prefer to keep them separate, and I have two little jars, one full of cream of tartar, one full of baking soda on my counter, and I just take a spoonful of each when I'm using it in anything that I would use baking powder in. That makes it easy. It's better than mixing them together because one is a base and one is an acid. That's what tends to cause it to clump, and why some companies will add aluminum to that. It's only added to baking powders, but it's not being done as much. You can usually find store-bought baking powders that don't have that in it. But if you are going to make it ahead of time, mix it up, you'd want to use something like cornstarch. That's just to prevent it from clumping. It helps keep it dry and from, turning into a big hard clump. Other things you can use baking soda for is for cleaning. It's a great cleaning thing. You can use it for getting spots off of hard surfaces like counters. You can use it for cleaning carpets. You can use it in your laundry. Of course, you use Washing soda is really good for that, but washing soda can also be made from baking soda. Now, I have a video I did on the differences between washing soda and baking soda, sodium bicarbonate and sodium carbonate, and I'll link to that video down below. You might find it interesting to learn about what the differences are and how you can make your own baking or your own washing soda just from the baking soda if you just want to stock up on that one thing instead of stocking up on both. It's usually a lot cheaper to go ahead and just stock up on the baking soda. And I have lots and lots of this on hand. Some of it I got from Azure Standard and some I've got from Costco. And then the fifth thing would be something like, it can be all of the above or one of these at least, and that would be activated charcoal or bentonite clay or even diatomaceous earth. Now, the main thing about these, why I brought these into that, is these are something like if someone ingests something toxic, activated charcoal and bentonite clay, especially when it comes to heavy metals, can bind them and carry them out of the body. Activated charcoal does the same thing, and diatomaceous earth can also be very cleansing. And so that's why I do recommend those. A bentonite clay can also be used in your tooth powder, which is what I forgot to mention with the baking soda you can use for brushing your teeth with, but for some people that's a little it's too harsh using it by itself. So mixing the baking soda with the bentonite clay, even like a 50-50, helps break that up so it's not so harsh on the inside of your mouth. And then the bentonite clay can also remineralize your teeth. You can also make a face mask out of bentonite clay. You can use just bentonite clay and water. You can use bentonite clay and some herbal tea that you've made out of herbs that are really good for your skin and do a face mask. It can also be used in wound treatment and so much more. I haven't done a video on activated charcoal yet, but I have done one on diatomaceous earth and one on bentonite clay. I will link to both of those in the description box down below as well. So there we are for the 5, at least for this list of 5 unexpected things or things you might not have thought of to stock up on in the event of hard times. These are things that are really can get you cover a lot of bases, and that's why I wanted to cover that. So if you like this video, let me know. Make sure you give me a like and a comment down below. I will look at possibly doing another video like 5 more unexpected things to stock up on down the road. And please share some of your favorite, more off-the-wall kind of things that people might not think of to stock up on yourself. And also, don't forget to check out the links I'll be putting down below, including you will find the link to my secondary YouTube channel and my Rumble channel, plus all of my social media information in the description box. So make sure you subscribe to all those channels in case something happens to this main channel. You'll always know you have other places to find me. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.